You're watching a movie at the theater. After the movie ends, your friend says to you, "I knew that was how the movie was going to end." You think to yourself, "Really? I don't remember them saying that before." It turns out they didn't actually predict it. They're just acting like they did now that the movie is over. In this situation, the person is showing hindsight bias. What is hindsight bias? Hindsight bias, often referred to as the "I knew it all along" effect, occurs when people believe, after an event has occurred, that they predicted or expected the outcome, even if they had no way of knowing it beforehand. Let's take a look at how hindsight bias affects different parts of our lives. Imagine Anna, who is planning a surprise birthday party for her friend Emily. She puts a lot of effort into organizing the event, but she's unsure whether Emily will enjoy the surprise or find it overwhelming. Before the event, Anna is nervous about the party and discusses her concerns with another friend, saying, "I really hope Emily likes the surprise. She's usually not a fan of big surprises, so I'm not sure how she'll react." The party goes well and Emily ends up loving the surprise. After seeing how happy Emily was, Anna reflects on the situation and thinks, "I knew Emily would love the surprise. I had a feeling this would be a success all along." Despite her earlier doubts, Anna now believes that the positive outcome was predictable. Alternatively, if the party hadn't gone well and Emily had been uncomfortable, Anna might think, "I knew it was a bad idea to throw a surprise party. I should have trusted my instincts that she wouldn't enjoy it." Hindsight bias can make Anna feel more confident in her ability to predict outcomes than she actually is, leading her to overestimate her decision-making skills in the future. This could cause her to make riskier decisions or ignore important details in future planning, because Anna convinces herself that she knew it all along. She might not take the time to analyze what really contributed to the success or failure of the event. This bias can prevent her from learning from the experience and making informed adjustments in the future. If Anna consistently displays hindsight bias, it could affect how she interacts with others. She might seem dismissive of their concerns or advice, believing that she has a better grasp of outcomes than she actually does. Let's move on and look into how hindsight bias affects relationships. Imagine a married couple, David and Sarah, who are planning a big family vacation. They debate whether to invite David's parents along. Sarah is hesitant, worried that the trip might become stressful with the added dynamic of having in-laws on vacation, but David reassures her that it will be fine. After some discussion, they agree to invite his parents. As the vacation unfolds, it turns out to be more stressful than they anticipated. David's parents are more demanding than expected, and the trip is filled with tension and disagreements. Both David and Sarah are frustrated by how the vacation is going. Once they return home, Sarah, reflecting on the stressful experience, says to David, "I knew this was going to happen. I had a bad feeling about inviting your parents from the start." Even though she initially agreed to invite them after their discussion, hindsight bias leads her to believe that she foresaw the negative outcome. David, feeling defensive, responds, "You didn't say anything when we were planning it. If you really thought it was a bad idea, you should have insisted we not invite them. I can't be the only one making decisions here." Sarah's hindsight bias can lead to resentment on both sides. David might feel unfairly blamed for the outcome, believing that Sarah is rewriting history to make it seem like she predicted the problems. Meanwhile, Sarah might feel validated in her initial concerns, even though those concerns were not as clear-cut at the time. The conversation could spiral into a broader argument about decision-making in the relationship, with both partners feeling misunderstood and unsupported. Sarah might feel that her concerns are not taken seriously, while David might feel that he's being held responsible for something they both agreed to. In future decision-making situations, both partners might be more cautious or defensive, fearing that any decision that leads to a negative outcome will result in similar arguments. This can lead to a lack of open communication and mutual decision-making, as both might become focused on avoiding blame rather than working together. How does hindsight bias affect business? Let's say that your business faces a significant loss, and you look back at past strategic decisions, convinced that the negative outcome was inevitable. You might think it was clear that expanding into that market was going to fail. Believing that past outcomes were predictable can lead to overconfidence in future decisions, as you might ignore the complexity and uncertainty involved. This could result in risky or ill-informed choices going forward. Recognizing patterns and understanding where you might have gone wrong can be beneficial if it leads to more careful planning and risk assessment in the future. However, if the hindsight bias leads to excessive self-criticism, it could impair your decision-making confidence and morale. In all these scenarios, hindsight bias can distort how we perceive past events, potentially affecting our emotional responses, decision-making processes, and relationships. Recognizing and addressing this bias can help in making more objective evaluations and fostering positive outcomes.